Alright, hello everybody. Today we're going to take a look at the Chieftain T95. This is a medium tank that came from Operation Typhoon as a reward tank. 2,000 of these were given out per server. RU server got more, but this is dealing with the NA server and the NA client. We're going to take a look here at this Mastery Ace badge game. This was a high caliber Confederate. Everything happened in this game, including team play, team assistance, dealing damage, all that kind of stuff. So we're starting here on Himmelsdorf encounter, and I'm going to head up the hill just because they really don't have too many heavy tanks that are threatening to me that I feel will threaten my vehicle. Aside from the standard characteristics of this thing plays hold down very well. So initially I'm thinking I'm going to go up here, possibly play hold down if need be, and if possible advance in their team. And we're going to see a few enemy tanks pop up here, but of major note is there's only one 112 up here and a medium and a light tank. Coming around here, we see that there's another tier 7 heavy tank coming up the hill, and I actually take a look between my tracks of my ally here to take a shot on this IS. Unfortunately, the shot does bounce, but it does no harm to my ally, and we just move along. But it is always feasible and always an option to shoot underneath the ally if you're in such a position. Now, coming on damage assistance here, we can see that I just tracked this 112. Now, my two allies right next to me, this 112 and IS-5, are going to put shots into him and deal damage. Now, because this guy was tracked by me, that's actually damage assistance for me. But seeing that it's 3-on-1, this guy's not going to be able to put up much of a fight. So we just roll around on him and take him out. So next we got to clean off the top of the hill. And I see on the minimap there that there's an M4190. A Panther and a CDC, and I see the CDC is pretty beat up, and there's the M4190. Put a shot in him, track him, there's more damage assistance, but I'm going to come over here and ram him to get the kill. Aim on the CDC and kill him, and that is a good tactic to use, and it's an intermediate to advanced tactic. If there's somebody in front of you that you can ram and kill while saving a shot for another, it's a great way to get 2 kills quickly. We're coming up behind this Panther here right in front of us, and my ram's actually going to track him, and I'm going to look for an engine shot, but then I change my mind to an ammo rack shot. Since he is already tracked, dealing an ammo rack shot to him will actually impede his ability to damage my allies. Plus, there's always that chance that the ammo rack will detonate. Coming up next is this patent down the hill here, and I use this gap, this breaking this wall, to shoot down this alley, but I see on my minimap, and if I change here to free cam, there's a 704 sitting over here that has the possibility of pulling out into the street and shooting me, and I don't want that to happen. If he hits me, it's going to be very, very painful, but we're going to take a look here, just deal some damage to the patent, and I check for the 704, see if he can actually come out into the street, but thankfully he does not, and I decide to pull away off the hill because I can't really do anything else up there. I follow this 112 down the hill, and he spots the low up on this corner, which I take a look at, and I'll take a shot at this guy, but unfortunately it doesn't land, but that's okay because he's not paying attention. He doesn't hit me, he doesn't hit the 112. So now I see that the 112 is going up the other street. I have the IS-5 behind me, and we're coming down the hill. So I'm actually looking around, scanning my surroundings for possible other kills, and we look here on the minimap and see that the Patton has actually moved off, and we won't really have to deal with him because there's an SU-122-54 hot on his tail. So right now all we really have to worry about is that low. I want to keep this paused here for a second because there's another important fact to look on the minimap, is this FV207 down here in Alpha 2. We got to watch out for that because there's 3 very punishing artillery, and we've only seen 1 so far. So the issue is that where the other 2 artillery are they also sitting down there? Is there a possibility that they're looking down the street that I'm coming up on? So I'm going to keep this in mind and actually play a little bit to the left on the street to keep these buildings between me and that artillery. And we'll see that later on that this is actually a warranted fear. I try to track the low, unfortunately it does not happen, and now since he is still not paying attention to me, I'm actually going to go for an ammo rack shot. But real quick is the artillery that showed up down here, and if you saw, I checked for him real quick, and again just to make sure that the buildings are between me and him. And they were, so I continued my engagement here with the low, looking for that ammo rack shot. Now, right there where my round hit is his ammo rack, and I'll put another one in here, and you can see the first hole right there. So he turns, he's looking at this IS-5 that moved out here, and what's going to happen next is obviously his death via the ammo rack. Now, that didn't really need to happen as an ammo rack, but it's just great whenever it does. IS-5 is breaking off to the left, so I have the Super Pershing and the 112 with me now. And remember, there's this 207 here on the corner of Alpha 2. So I'm going to keep this in mind and actually stay to the right of the road this time, because that 4043 is dead, so I don't need to worry about him. And I'm going to come up here on the corner and see in front of me a Tiger 2 and the Panther 8.8. Now, the Tiger 2 is a new spot, so that's more experience for me for spotting a new tank for the first time. Now, seeing the Panther 8.8 and the Tiger 2, we'll keep going ahead here. The Panther 8.8 was the better snapshot, but I'm going to focus this Tiger 2 because I exposed less of my vehicle to more enemy tanks. I'm going to pause this again here as we just saw a S51 lit up by this 112 because this 112 pulled a little bit too far forward. Maybe he was ignorant of the fact that there was still an artillery unlit, or just, you know, didn't cross his mind. But we're going to keep this on free cam and see that this S51 does actually shoot at the 112. He doesn't take any hits damage, but he is tracked there, and he's in a little bit of a predicament because this is a very tight quarter. So, I'm going to continue on here with this Tiger 2. He's going to die right here to the 112, which is good. Now we're going to switch over to the Panther 8.8. The round bounces, so it was an oddball shot. There's nothing you can really do about him. Just keep firing at the enemies, guys. It's another shot. He bounces on that little turn. Right as he fired, that little turn can sometimes cause a round to bounce. I'm going to take another pause here and look. This is the rear end of the 704, which means his gun's facing the other way. So I'm actually going to charge this guy, try to track and try to keep that gun from coming around. I have Rheinmetall down the road here, which I also don't want this 704 to shoot at. So what I'm going to do is come up here, ram him a bit. It's going to adjust his gun, adjust his aim, and I'm actually auto-aimed on his vehicle in case my reticle for some reason jumped off his tank. So I look around behind me, there's the 207, I apologize, and he actually shoots and hits the 112 right here. So the 112 is taking a lot of damage from this artillery, but it's not enough to kill him. And with the last tank left on his T20 over here by this M12, I move over to help him out, but the T34 down the road from him actually takes him out, saving our M12 and finishing out this really good match. So just to recap on this, it's a lot of damage and damage assistance, ramming tanks, getting those track shots, taking out tanks that are one shot just by ramming and then shooting another tank. And we can see here on the detailed replay all of this damage assistance, all of these critical hits, and it's only 2 kills, but that was enough for our team to win that drastically. If we take a look at the experience here, is actually a lot of experience for all of this team play and all this assistance play. 3,000 damage assistance, 4,400 of my own, and that will basically get you an ace badge every single time, just doing assistance damage and your own damage. You don't have to get kills, you don't have to spot tanks, but every little bit helps. And I want to thank everybody for coming with me on this replay and on this walkthrough, and you can check out my link for Twitch and Twitter down at the bottom there, and I will see everybody on the next replay.